Good afternoon, everyone. Is there anybody out there in yay, here we come. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hope everyone's having a good day. This is Leslie Pope, creative designer at the Beadsmith, here to bring you hopefully another lovely project that you will enjoy, called the Agali Butterflies Bracelet. Hi, everyone. Everyone who's saying hi to me in the chat. It is another one of my rinse and repeat projects. You make the component and then you stick it together anywhere you like. This one is using the Agali symbol ending for kite beads. And this is the full length bracelet. I also had to do one with the partially finished bracelet ends. I love the partially finished bracelet ends and making dangles. And I also used the laser tattoo kites, which are really, really fun. And to keep things simple, I also made a pair of earrings with just one little component, but you could make more than one component if you like. And of course I put a couple of little dangles on them. These are actually more of the Agalis. And aside from it being a rinse and repeat project, it is also a stash buster project, because you don't need a lot of beads, as you can see, as usual. And the tutorial is available at the beadsmith.com/I-love-beads. And the beads sections will probably be symbols, kites, and the faceted micro spacers. And literally, this is the tutorial. This is how simple it is. This is the tutorial. I think I can make one little component in about 10 minutes. That's how fast it is. So let's get started. And as I said, you don't need a lot of beads. Here is the Agali bead ending. It just has one hole in it and a nice little loop for you to attach your jump rings to. Kite beads, faceted micro spacers, size 15 seeds, and some jump rings. These are 6mm rounds, but you can also use ovals and whatever you want. You could use smaller ones. It's up to you. And you'll just need a little bit of fire line for each component. It's about 16 inches. Your snips, and then some pliers for opening and closing your jump rings. And of course, I love, love, love the micro fine pliers, because they're so nice and slim and nice handle. Alrighty, and Kathy is going to groan at me because yes, this is a 2-needle weaving project. So it's my 2 needles, my 16 inches of fire line, and as always, check all of your 2-hole beads to make sure all the holes are clear before you start stitching, because you don't want to go around and not be able to get through the second hole. With the kite beads, my instructions are going to say narrow end or wide end. Okay? So just make a note of that, because you want things to lay properly. So to start, we're going to string 3 kites through the narrow ends. And then one of your Agali findings and 3 more kites through the wide end. And I had checked all of my bead holes before I started. So you see I'm not checking that's because I checked before. Alrighty. And so after you thread your first round of beads, you want to slide everything down to the center since you are using 2 needles. And then we have to add an Agali on the other end. So just sew through 1 needle and then put your other needle in, and you will be crisscrossing through the Agali. Ta-da! Like that's it. That's like, this is just how simple it is, right? So in order to firm it up, we're going to take 1 needle and we're going to sew through the 3 kites, your first Agali, and your first kite on the other side, and snug it up. Then you're going to take your second needle and you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to sew through your kites on this side, being careful not to split your thread or skip any beads. Okay, and then I'm going to go through this one again and the first kite on the other side. And pull it snug. So everything should be laying pretty smooth. And then we're going to have to reverse our thread direction. So you're going to sew through the top hole or the wide end of the kite you're exiting. So that's one side. And then we're going to do it on the other side. There we go. And then add the beads down the side, which is not going to be very hard. So you first have to put your sort of rivet stopper bead. So string of 15, sew back through that same hole so it locks your thread. Ding, ding, ding. And then I'm going to pick up a 15 and a micro spacer and a 15 and sew through the next kite wide end, and then one more 15 and micro spacer and 15 and sew through your third kite, and then lock this side by picking up a 15 and then sewing back through all the beads you just added. And then it'll be nice and firm, which is good. And I always say the more thread passes, the better. Okay, so we coming out of that end kite, and then we're going to sew back through the 15 and back through a couple of beads. There's your little rivet bead on the end. And then you just make a few knots. You don't have to go crazy. There's no stress on this component. So I'm just going to make a couple of half hitch knots here. And sew through a couple of more beads away from the knot. There we go. Pick up my little trusty thread snips and snip that off. And so that's one side of your component. And doesn't that look like a butterfly wing? It looks like a butterfly wing to me. So then you're just going to repeat all that on the other side. So pick up your little 15 to make your little rivet there. And then the 15s and the micro spacers. I love micro spacers. I am not a normally a crystal gal, but these micro spacers are just, they're faceted. They fit in a lot of little spots, and they just give you that little extra bling, and I just love them. I can't get enough of them. And they come in such yummy, yummy colors. Okay, so we're at the end. We're going to put our last little rivet in and sew back through all the beads we just added. I mean, like, seriously, how fast is this? I've been known for being fast, but this is just, I didn't realize how fast this was until I did a tester today. There we go. Last kite through the 15. If I can see what I'm doing here. Where's the hole? Ah, there's the hole. And back into the component. Make a couple of knots around your existing thread. These are the half hitch knots. And I'm going to sew through a couple more beads away from the knot. And if you want to go crazy, you can put more knots in there if you want. All right. We're going to snip off your thread. And there is your first Agali butterfly component. And you would make as many as you would need for your bracelet. I think I did about 8 because they're just, believe it, barely over ½ an inch. And presto changeo, here's the one that I did first. And we're going to attach them with their jump rings. So take your pliers, your jump ring. Let me see if I can find an opening here. Ooh, where's the opening? Should have did that before. Okay. And everybody knows that when you open your jump rings, you pull one plier towards you and one plier away from you, so you don't torque out the shape of your jump ring. And you're just going to slide one component on one side, one component on the second side, and then you're going to close your jump ring up by doing the same thing. You're going to pull them back towards each other. One's coming forward, one's coming back. And then when you hear your jump ring snap, you know that you have locked it. And there you go. And you would just continue to do that for as many components as you like. And make bracelets, make earrings, make whatever you want. And ta-da! That is the Agali's butterfly bracelet, earrings, or adjustable bracelet. And like literally, that's it, folks. So I did want to ask, has anybody been making any projects with any of our I Love Beads patterns? If you have, we'd love for you to share them on the Beadsmith Facebook page so we don't feel like we're doing this in a vacuum. In the meanwhile, you can find all these lovely beads, symbol metal elements, seed beads, and other findings at your favorite bead reseller. And please support them. They need all the support we can give them at the moment. And beaders are love. Beaders equal love, right? My only other side note is we will be on hiatus until October the 6th. But when we come back, Leslie Rogowski will have a lovely pair of earrings to share with you all. In the meanwhile, stay safe, keep beading. Remember, we love you and we love beads. This is Leslie Pope, creative designer at the Beadsmith, signing off until next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.